sich auf die Tanzfläche bewegen. Und nun geht es los.
You are listening to Däs Bündesliga Show here on the Lock Betting Podcast. You can follow Lock Betting on X at Lock Betting X. That's at Lock Betting X. On that X account, you will find the P&L for the latest month. That is the pinned tweet. If you scroll down, you can find all of the other P&Ls, but if you want to find them in one easy location, they are all posted on the website lockbetting.com. That's lockbetting.com. That's also where you can sign up for the service. Have a look through the spreadsheets. Have a look at how we manage a bankroll. Every single spreadsheet is verified by members, and they accumulate to 130 straight months in a row of transparent and track profit. That means for 10 years and 10 additional months, a decade and 10 months, I haven't had a single losing month in sports betting. As I said, this is verified by existing members, and our transparent and track spreadsheets for every single month, with the latest one being the pin tweet at LockBettingX. If you have questions, my DMs are open at LockBettingX. That's at LockBettingX. So moving on with this edition of Däs Bundesliga Show, 3 games from the 2:30 slate. We'll be covering the late game between Stuttgart and Eintracht Frankfurt, and both of the games going down tomorrow. We begin with Bayern Munich in what isn't really an important game. We just know people like to hear about Bayern Munich, where they're the 1-4 favourites at home to Cologne. It's 11-2 on the draw, and it's 10-1 here on Cologne. We're actually 30 minutes from actually getting some team news, because I'm recording this show quite late, as I still haven't adjusted to the time difference. I'm still sleeping late, and waking up around about 12:30 in the afternoon. So at some point, this is going to need to be resolved by sleep gummies or sleeping pills or something, as I want to get back on track and put my podcasts out at the right time. But unfortunately, we are doing this quite close to team news and about 2 hours away from kickoff. So I was tempted to just wait and do an even quicker version of the show, but I don't think the team news is going to be highly significant. I think any version of Bayern Munich today, cash our play for us, which is simply going to be on over 3.5 goals. I think Cologne could make a contribution to this, and I think even if Bayern Munich do rest players, they should be able to contribute 3 goals in this game. Even if they don't, we still have the possibility of Cologne netting a couple of goals, because this is a Bayern Munich defence that cannot really be trusted unless they're super focused like they seem to be in the Champions League. Bayern Munich have no chance in the Bundesliga title race, but defeats against Dortmund and Heidenheim should ensure that they try to put out a decent effort here at home against a relegation-threatened Cologne team. So I'm expecting goals here in this game. Whoever they put out, the fact remains that Bayern Munich have scored 80 goals in 28 Bundesliga games this season, and they can certainly score 3 or 4 if they want to against a Cologne team who have posted just 1 away win this entire campaign. Thomas Tuchel's side have kept just 1 clean sheet in the last 6 league games at the Allianz Arena. So as I said, a Cologne contribution could happen, and therefore over 3.5 goals at 4-5 minus 125 does represent some value here in my opinion. Up next, we move on to Borussia Mönchengladbach at home to Borussia Dortmund, where Dortmund are the even money favourites. It's 3-1 on the draw, and it's 5-2 here on Borussia Mönchengladbach. Gladbach are in that territory where their season doesn't matter at this point. They could get up for a game against Borussia Dortmund, but Borussia Dortmund will be the more motivated team. Gladbach sit in 11th spot in the table on 31 points. They are 8 points clear of relegation conversation, and they are a whopping 22 points away from being in the top 5, which is the final European spot. Borussia Dortmund, of course, want to qualify for the Champions League, and at the moment they trail RB Leipzig on goal difference by 9 goals. So for me, this is a must-win game for Borussia Dortmund, and one that I expect them to win. And I think there's value on the selection at even money. Dortmund have lost just once on the road in the Bundesliga this entire season, and should have too much for a Gladbach team who have just won 2 of their last 11 games. This is obviously a transitional season for Gladbach. Nothing much was expected of them, yet they've still managed to underperform low expectations. This should be a game that does have goals. 10 of Borussia Dortmund's last 11 home league games have featured at least 3 goals, and both teams have scored in 4 of the last 6 meetings between these two teams. But I expect Dortmund to score a majority of those goals and come away with a win in this one. Up next, we look at RB Leipzig at home to Wolfsburg, where Leipzig are the 1-3 favourites. It's 19-4 on the draw, and it's 17-2 here on Wolfsburg. Leipzig, they want to qualify for the Champions League, and in order to do so, they need to remain consistent at home. Their home form is the main reason why they are in the top 4, and I look for them to pick up another win against a Wolfsburg team who, while they did win their last away game at Werder Bremen, they have won just 2 of their last 13 on the road. So this is going to be tough. RB Leipzig have not been full of goals, but they are difficult to penetrate as they've made themselves more solid at the back. So I expect them to grind out a victory here, which will keep them ahead of Dortmund at the end of the day. Leipzig have kept a clean sheet in each of the last 4 home league matches, and I expect that pattern to continue here as Leipzig keep the back door shut and end up picking up the win here against a Wolfsburg side whose last 7 away league matches have featured fewer than 3 goals, whilst they have lost 4 of their last 5 league games coming into this one. So given the data that we've laid out there, I do like RB Leipzig with under 4.5 goals tacked on. Even if Wolfsburg do manage to make a contribution, I don't see this Leipzig team scoring 4 goals and ruining our bet. In fact, I see this being much more close to a 1-0, 2-0 kind of win here for Leipzig. Therefore, I don't think our 5 goals will be in any kind of danger. If Wolfsburg do score, as I said, I don't expect Leipzig to run riot. So I think we're safe with that add-on, which gets us away from the minus 300 line and instead gives us the price of 10-11, minus 110 here for this one. Up next, moving on to the late game, we have Stuttgart at home to Eintracht Frankfurt, where Stuttgart are 1-2 favourites. It's 4-1 on the draw, and it's 11-2 on Eintracht Frankfurt. What a season for Stuttgart. They're just a few wins away from confirming themselves in the Champions League and leaving Leipzig and Dortmund to battle it out by themselves, as Stuttgart will be clear of those two. Coming into the year, I expected Leipzig and Dortmund to occupy 3rd and 4th spot. I thought Stuttgart would drop off, but that hasn't been the case, despite the fact that Dortmund have been very solid so far in 2024. Stuttgart have been particularly good at home, where they have 33 points from 14 home games this season, and they should have too much for Frankfurt, who have managed just 2 wins in their last 11 away days, 3 draws and 6 defeats. However, if you're looking for an add-on to get away from the minus 200 line, it should be noted that both teams have scored in 9 of Frankfurt's last 10 games. So I do believe they can make a contribution here en route to losing to a formidable Stuttgart at home. Adding their BTTS on gives you Stuttgart and BTTS at 2-1 plus 200. And we're going to take that big plus money selection as our choice here for this one. Moving across to Sunday, we have Darmstadt at home to Freiburg, where Freiburg come to Darmstadt as a 10-11 favourites. It's 14-5 on the draw, and it's 3-1 here on Darmstadt. Darmstadt are down. They're well clear. They're the worst team in the Bundesliga. They only have 14 points this season. Freiburg, they have an outside chance of qualifying for the Europa Conference League, although the gap between themselves and Frankfurt is 6 points. But if Frankfurt lose this weekend, as I expect, and Freiburg do pick up a rare away win, then they do have a chance of closing that gap down to 3. My main selection, though, for this game is to take the over 2.5 goals, where there is value at 7 to 10. Darmstadt head into this game with the worst defence in the league, with 5 of their last 7 outings delivering over 2.5 goals, and Freiburg could score these 3 goals by themselves. There have been 3 or more goals in 5 successive Freiburg outings, and therefore getting over 2.5 goals at 7 to 10 seems like a no-brainer selection here for this game. We finish up with the champions-to-be by Leverküsen. They are at home tomorrow against Werder Bremen, where they are the 1-4 minus 400 favourites. It's 6-1 on the draw, and it's 12-1 on Werder Bremen. You could argue, at least after 80 minutes, that Leverkusen would be fully concentrating on their trip to the London Stadium, and perhaps they could afford to drop points in the league. But essentially, in the last 10 minutes, that tie was won. There's no way that West Ham are overturning a 2-goal deficit, and that doesn't mean that Leipzig won't take that game seriously, but it also doesn't mean that they'll rest any players here. Their home supporters have come to see the champions-to-be in action, and they'll expect a display from Leverkusen once again, and I do think Leverkusen will deliver. I'm going to take the tried and tested play here of Leverkusen with over 2.5 goals tacked on, which moves this selection to 4-6 minus 150. Leverkusen have won 13 of the last 14 games in all competitions, and you cannot think for 1 second that they're not going to be motivated to win the league as early as possible and even chase down this record total for winning the league. They need 16 more points in order to do it, and that will be a Bundesliga record. They also can wrap up the Bundesliga title in front of their own fans as early as tomorrow, and I believe that's exactly what they'll do against a Werder Bremen team who have lost 4 of the last 5 Bundesliga matches. They appear to be in a rut, and there will be goals in this game too, with at least 3 goals being scored in 6 of Leverkusen's last 8 home games, with the big possibility that Leverkusen may score 3 goals themselves in a very, very routine win, and an impressive one in front of their own supporters to bring home this Bundesliga title officially as early as tomorrow. So I'm going to take Leverkusen to get that done. I'm going to take Leverkusen with the over 2.5 goals tacked on, and I'm going to take that at the price of 4-6 minus 150. Closing out with your lock on the show, we're going to just go with what we just had in the last game. As I said, I cannot see past Leverkusen getting this done in front of their own supporters, looking good en route to doing it, giving them a impressive display in front of a party-like atmosphere. The data supports the play too, given the fact there have been an average of 3.29 goals per game at the Bay Arena this season, and over 2.5 goals has been a bet that has landed in 79% of Leverkusen's home affairs. As for Leverkusen winning the game, I have no concerns about that. This is a team who already wrapped up the quarter-final tie against West Ham with the 2-0 win that they take back to the London Stadium. This is a team who have won 13 of the last 14 games in all competitions. This is a team who are motivated by getting themselves the Bundesliga record points tally. This is a team who are looking to win themselves a treble this season. And this is a team who haven't lost a single game this entire season. They are unbeaten in all competitions so far this season. And I see nothing but a highly motivated Leverkusen team winning the league in style in front of their own supporters. So once again, your lock on the show is Leverkusen with over 2.5 goals tacked on at the price of 4-6 minus 150. That's it for me and this edition of Däs Bündesliga Show. If you want to get all of my official plays, you need to upgrade to the Ultimate Pack. If you just want soccer, then you can upgrade to the Soccer Pack. The card will be released in the next 20 minutes. We took nothing early, but we will be taking stuff in the Bundesliga. So that will be released around about 2 p.m. If you want to get all of my plays, it is the Ultimate Pack. You've just missed out on a WrestleMania card where we destroyed WrestleMania on both nights, and we are hoping to carry that momentum into UFC 300, which goes down tonight. Keep your eyes peeled for an edition of the Fight Show that will be dropping in the next 4 to 5 hours, so plenty of time to listen to that before the card kicks off. And as I said, if you want to get all of the plays, it's the Ultimate Pack. If you want to get the soccer stuff, it's the Soccer Pack, all available at lockbetting.com. Good luck with all your bets as always, and thanks for listening.